Right now, more questions than answers after two people are found dead in a car on the interstate in Virginia Beach. State police found the bodies in a crashed truck on 264 yesterday morning, not far from First Colonial Road. 13 News Now reporter Ali Weatherton spent the day trying to get answers.
A spokesperson for Virginia State Police says this is an active and ongoing investigation as they try to figure out what exactly happened. Scanner traffic gives us a little more details.
Gunshot wound priority 1. 264 West First Colonial after.
Of what may have happened on the interstate Wednesday morning.
Patient status 264 First Colonial. One deceased, one in cardiac arrest.
Several drivers who didn't want to be interviewed say they saw a white work truck with a man slumped over on the driver's side. Right now, Virginia State Police are keeping details tight-lipped, but confirmed yesterday troopers found two people dead inside a vehicle following a single vehicle accident. A VSP spokesperson continues to reiterate this is an active and ongoing investigation. So far today, no new details have been released. Today we drove to Powell's Point, North Carolina. That's where the company that the truck belonged to is located. A woman with Carolina Marine Structures told me this is a difficult time for them. She also said the company's owner would not release a statement until state police release more details. Investigators say they will not release the victims' names until their autopsies are completed. In Virginia Beach, Ali Weatherton, 13 News Now.